So the 49ers wrap up the preseason with a 30-23 victory over the LA Chargers. But, oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, I think last week I was saying like preseason final scores never matter. Last week it did because of Jake Moody and how he finished on a strong note. And so the final 30-23, the thing that kind of stood out from this game is how the 49ers scored their final 2 touchdowns of the game. Tariq Owens with a touchdown catch on a pass from Carter Bradley. So the son of Terrell Owens making his presence felt. And the one thing that, in talking to Tariq after the game, very soft-spoken, just pretty much keeps his head down and has gone about everything the right way. He didn't have a whole lot of football experience before he came to the 49ers as an undrafted rookie, but he fractured his hand in last preseason, even before the game started. The 49ers put him on or waived him injured, but then they brought him back, which shows a lot about what they thought of him. So he was on the practice squad for much of last year. And then this year, a full training camp, obviously a long shot to make the 53-man roster, but maybe he's still done enough to earn a spot on the practice squad. So that was really cool seeing Tariq Owens do that. And also Curtis Robinson, a guy, again, who's done everything the right way, Stanford product, has had a difficult time finding his footing on a 53-man roster. He's been up and down with the 49ers on the practice squad. Last year, he was on the cusp of being on the active roster, and then a torn ACL, and his season was ended, had to work his way back. And for him to have a pick six in this game, really cool. And, I think I'm going to have him on the 49ers 53-man roster. He knows that, this is a difficult time of the year for a lot of guys, but he said that his experience just enables him to feel like whatever happens is going to happen. It won't be his final shot, but, if he's delivered bad news on Tuesday, it won't be his final shot. But also, I think there's this peace of mind with guys who've been through this before of if you do everything you possibly can to win a roster spot and the numbers just don't fall your way, there can be no regrets. So those are the two of the guys that really kind of stood out in this game for all the right reasons. There's one guy, Jake Moody, man, again, just kind of all over the map. And, watching him miss an extra point, watching him have a kickoff, go out of bounds, you just wonder if the 49ers can open the regular season with him. And I asked Kyle Shanahan about that straight up after the game. And his answer was that he had one of the best games he's ever seen against the Raiders. That might be, kind of a major overstatement considering he did miss a 53-yarder, which isn't an easy kick, quite clearly, against the Raiders. But he also just hooked that 26-yarder just barely inside the left upright before making the 44-yarder to tie the game and then the 59-yarder in walk-off fashion. So what do the 49ers do with Jake Moody? I guess they'll start the season with him, but then how long can they keep him if those inconsistencies continue? Another thing that kind of caught my eye, when the 49ers, when they traded for Sky Moore, it basically gave them 3 of the same player: Sky Moore, Jacob Cowing, and Junior Bergen. Smaller guys, slot receivers, also guys who can make an impact in the return game or who are going to be asked to make an impact in the return game. Well, Sky Moore comes from Kansas City at a time when Jacob Cowing, it looks like, is going to be out a considerable amount of time. So Kyle Shanahan threw 6 weeks out there for the hamstring injury, the aggravation of the hamstring injury. So what does that mean? Jacob Cowing will start the season on the injured reserve list. And so that eliminates him for 4 weeks, but it also keeps him under control to the 49ers. So Jacob Cowing won't be on the initial 53, but the 49ers will keep him around. And then once he gets healthy, they'll have to make a decision whether to bring him up to the active roster. By that time, also Brandon Ayuk could be ready to go. So we'll see what the 49ers decide to do at that position, and also Junior Bergen, the 7th-round pick, who came here for his ability in the return game, and he did not help himself. I think that maybe he felt a little bit of pressure, maybe a lot of pressure, knowing that there was no room for error, no margin for error for him because of the acquisition of Sky Moore. And he struggled in a big way, muffed a punt. And so, I don't think that he makes the 53-man. I would think, though, that the 49ers would like to keep him around and bring him to the practice squad. So the thing is, the 49ers have made this emphasis to get better on special teams. And now I think there are some question marks about the return game because Sky Moore was a rookie in 2022. He opened that season as Kansas City's return specialist in punt returns, but he muffed 3 of those, lost 3 fumbles, and Kansas City benched him, and he didn't return punts the rest of the season. That rookie season, only 14 returns, but 3 muffed punts. Now, he ended that season on a high note. He had a 29-yard return late in the AFC Championship game. It put Kansas City in position for the winning points that propelled them to the Super Bowl, and then he caught a touchdown in that Super Bowl. But Sky Moore did not return punts his second year in the league or his third year in the league. And quite clearly, Kansas City was ready to move on from him. Probably they were going to cut him, but the 49ers acquire him in a trade. The 49ers get Sky Moore and a 7th-round pick from Kansas City for a 6th-round pick. And then Brian Robinson, that trade hasn't been official yet. That's why they haven't announced it. There's nothing going on from what I understand. I mean, the reason the Washington Commanders did not practice him or play him was because they didn't want to take any chances of him getting injured. The Washington Commanders ready to move on from him. One interesting note, and I guess it's to be taken for granted at this point, Kyle Shanahan said that he does consider Brian Robinson the backup running back. So Isaac Grendo slides one spot down on the depth chart with Christian McCaffrey as the number 1 and Brian Robinson as the number 2 and Grendo as the number 3. Jordan James, the rookie running back, the draft pick from Oregon, he is very close to returning. So I would think that he would be the number 4 running back on this roster, the number 4 halfback on this roster, a guy who probably won't get a uniform. He'll be kind of a developmental player. Remember, on the 53-man roster, teams are allowed to suit up 48 players, and the 49ers obviously can bump up 2 players from the practice squad too. So I would think that for a while anyway, a guy like Jordan James and the wide receiver Jordan Watkins would be 2 guys who would not be on the active 48. They would be on the 53-man roster, but they wouldn't be suiting up for games for a while. So Jeff Wilson Jr. also had a touchdown in this game, but again, very unlikely that he could earn a spot on the roster just because of the way the roster is comprised. And I don't see the 49ers keeping 5 halfbacks on this team. So still a lot of roster spots to kind of sort out from this one. Curtis Robinson or Chaz Surratt. I'm going to go with Curtis Robinson on this. The injury to Trey Brown, I think, solidifies the cornerback position. And also Jacob Robinson, the undrafted rookie from BYU, had a fractured forearm, which I don't know if that's going to end his season or not, but it certainly means that he won't open the season with the 49ers. I would think that they would do the same thing that they did with Corey Kiner, which would be to waive him injured, assuming no team will claim him, and then they bring him back. He would be on IR, and there'd be an injury settlement, and maybe they bring him back later in the season to hold a spot on the practice squad. So those are some of the things we saw in this game. Most of the regulars did not play. The most notable players who did see action, Marquis Siegel, potential starting safety for the 49ers. Connor Colby would be in line to start at right guard, although it looked like Dominic Puni was walking better, so maybe looking more encouraging for him to be a starter week 1 in Seattle as he recovers from the posterior cruciate ligament sprain that he had. Isaac Grendo saw some action. And then on the other side, Jim Harbaugh making his return to Levi Stadium to a warm reception, saw him chatting with Patrick Willis and Frank Gore before the game. And then also Trey Lance. I thought he looked pretty good playing 3 series for the Chargers, completed, 5 of 8 passes. And looks like he's very much in line to be the Chargers' backup quarterback behind Justin Herbert. But, all the big names for the 49ers, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, the entire offensive line, Nick Bosa and some of the starters on the defensive line. By the way, Clea Davis didn't play. Great sign for him. He's looking to be a week 1 starter. 49ers hope to get Upton Stout back real soon. Hope to get Michael Williams back real soon, and hoping to get CJ West back real soon. Some guys there that the 49ers need early in the season. Remember, kickoff 2 weeks away, 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, September 7th up in Seattle. And it seems like the 49ers feel good about the way things went this training camp. Yeah, there were injuries, but, the one thing that was kind of interesting was that even though they had those injuries at running back with 2 guys who very well might have made the 53-man roster, Patrick Taylor and Corey Kiner, they end up probably strengthening their running back position because of the acquisition of Brian Robinson. 49ers acquiring him for a 6th-round pick from Washington, while also Washington picks up $1.25 million of that salary. So that's the quick rundown from the 49ers preseason finale against the Chargers. I think I hit probably all of the big points, but cut down day coming up on Tuesday. And tomorrow I know I'll sit down and write a story on who I envision being on the team's 53-man roster on Tuesday. So thanks for watching this video, and that is it for now.